you.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thank you, everyone, and so glad that you are here today. My name is Jocelyn Amba, and I am a migrant caregiver. I'm taking care of Canadian children while I was separated from my own. Family separation has been happening since I can remember. Separation from family leaves children struggling emotionally. Anger and sadness occupy most of their thoughts. We can never justify family separation. Whether they are separated by border patrols at the United States or due to forced migration. For us, family separation was forced because we're forced to look for a better life for our children left behind. That is no different from families fleeing poverty in Mexico and in the Philippines. Government in our countries of origins and host countries must be reminded that migrants are people. Migrants are people. We are not tools to be used and abused and then disposed. Who does that? You're not even human at all if you do that. Migrants is a part of a strong, solid foundation of society to create a better nation. Immigrants are almost always had to experience separation. Here in Canada, though, it is very systematic. Migrant programs like caregiver program in which I am in, we must complete a 2-year program before we can start application for permanent residency. That means being away from our own family for 2 years minimum. After 2 years, that's the time when we can start looking forward to be reunited with our family. Imagine the stress it causes between a husband and a wife, and the longing of the children for her mother's care, and so much heartbreak in between. And when we are finally reunited with our family, the struggle continues. The family became strangers to each other. The relationship, the love, the respect have to be rebuilt. Other families are not so lucky, and the separations becomes permanent. The system must stop now. There is an urgency to protect the family and stop family separation. Let's work together to keep families intact. Justice for the children of migrants and justice for migrant families. Mantener unidas a las familias.
Thank you, Jocelyn. I also wanted to let you know that there is a petition going around to call for permanent residence for our caregivers here in Canada. So please support our petition to support our caregivers. Good afternoon, everyone, and warm militant greetings from Migrante Alberta. Migrante Alberta, along with our national alliance, Migrante Canada, condemns the zero-tolerance policy of the United States government towards children of migrants and families at its U.S. borders. We join you in the collective outcry of migrant workers, asylum seekers, and their families, calling to put an end to the zero-tolerance policy and the criminalization of migrants. Detaining children and separating them from their family members are a fundamental human rights violation. President Trump has used migrants, immigrants, and people of color as a scapegoat to the worsening economic crisis and conditions of the United States. It has been widely reported that approximately 2,000 minors have been separated from their families from April 19th to May 31st. We know what family separation is like in our community. Many, if not all, Filipino migrants are forced to migrate because of dire socioeconomic conditions brought about by U.S. imperialism in our country, the Philippines. I, like many others, was separated from my parents when I was 10, and we were only reunited when I was 18. The alarming rate at which these children at the U.S. border are being separated and placed in government-contracted shelters will very likely have a damaging effect to the child's welfare and mental health. And the effects of these inhumane immigration policies do not bode well to current social and political situation of the U.S. and thus will only add to the growing discontent by the American working class. Criminalizing migrants has always been a tool of imperialist nations in the creation and controlling of nation borders based on the needs of capitalism, and Canada is no different. While Canada does not outrightly separate children with their parents, it does arbitrarily detain migrants leaving parents who are detained, facing the difficult situation of surrendering children to foster care or bringing them in detention. Currently, it is reported that there are 155 detained minors in Canada. We cannot be silent when children are made to suffer like this. No child should be in detention while their parents are treated as criminals for seeking a better life for their families. We recognize that enduring family separation have long been part of the struggle of migrant workers in Canada. Migrant workers under the Temporary Foreign Worker Program are constantly faced with the realities of being away from loved ones while working the dirty, dangerous, and demeaning jobs. Unjust family separation is driven by survival, which is a common denominator for people crossing the U.S. borders and migrant workers who willingly pay this high cost just to survive. We in Migrante Alberta and Migrante Canada call on Prime Minister Trudeau to condemn the U.S. immigration detention and deportation policy in the strongest terms. Canada must scrap the Safe Third Country Agreement with the United States and end immigration detention in Canada. Provide permanent resident status to all undocumented people, all refugees that are victims of imperialist war of aggression, and to immigrants arriving in the future, including everyone who has arrived and incoming from the United States. Justice for all migrant workers. Down with U.S. imperialism. Thank you, everyone.
We are people.
We are not illegal.
Say
We are people. We are not illegal.
Say we
are people. We are not illegal. Thank you very much.